the best way to really discover and understand the wines from a region is to visit the region, to see the place, to meet the people, to eat the food, to drink the wine, because this is the complete experience. And then when you go back to your place, you can find the wine and have the memories. Brava, mi piace.
Welcome to Modo di Bere, the podcast for local drinks and local sayings. I'm your host, Rose Thomas Bannister. Today, I am very happy to be making an in-person interview with Teresa Bruno and Ilaria Petitto, two winemakers from Campania in southern Italy. They are not only winemakers, but leading advocates for their historic region of Irpinia. Teresa is the president of the consorzio in Irpinia, and Ilaria is the vice president. And Teresa makes wine together with her brother Roberto at the Pettiglia winery. Ilaria is the head of the Donna Chiara winery, where her family has been making wine since the time of her mother's grandmother. Ilaria, Teresa, for all the work that you do to promote the wider region, I want to make sure our listeners get a chance to hear about each of your wineries.
Okay, so Donna Chiara was established by my mother. She's Chiara, so her name comes from her grandmother Chiara. So that's why Donna Chiara, that means Lady Chiara, because of course my mother's grandmother was a lady that was living in the 18th centuries. So my mother, when she retired from the school, she was a teacher. She decided, because she retained the property of the vineyards, to start her own production. And for her was really natural to give to the winery the name of her grandmother because they were so close. And I, of course, didn't have the chance to meet her grandmother, but I grew up listening my mother talking of this really strong and modern woman that for that time was really full of energy. She was managing the land, the property of the family during the two World War when all the men were out and away from the land. And she teach to my mother the love for the countryside. And of course, in that period, these were not just producing wine, but they were really a farm. They were having animals and doing different kind of production. And then only in the late 1890, my grandfather decided to convert all the property to the vinification, and so to growing, grapes. And to be honest, when I was young, for me, the area of Avellino was very boring. So I did not imagine to work with my mother in a family company. In my idea, wine was something to enjoy, but not my work. So I left Avellino when I was 18 and I moved to Rome. I took my graduation in law. I became a lawyer. And I was so excited to discover the world. So my mother, she started to tell me, why you don't come back to Avellino to see what I'm doing with Donna Chiara? And I did. And it's difficult to explain because it was kind of magic. But I completely fell in love with the countryside of Avellino. So the town Avellino was boring to me, but the countryside is so exciting, so beautiful and authentic and wild that I started to put all my effort myself in the winery. At the beginning, it was hard with my mother because we were having a completely different idea. She is very traditional. I was very modern. I was young, and so I started to change many things. But now I think my mother, she's very proud and very happy on what we are doing. And so that's the history.
Brava. Ok, brava. Ok, dimmi un po' della la storia del Pettiglia.
Petilia significa piccola patria, nuova patria, dal greco. In realtà per me e per mio fratello è stato veramente l'inizio di un'avventura, perché la nostra azienda non è nata dai nostri genitori, ma è nata dalla volontà e dalla passione per la terra di mio fratello Roberto, che in realtà
She said
studiava
that the meanings of Petilia is new homeland, small homeland, and this is the name that my brother and I choose for our winery. I'm involved in the winery thanks to my brother because it was Roberto, my brother, for what I have really a deep love that he was studying nuclear physics at the university, but he decided to start this adventure with his own, winemaking production. And for me, it was natural to follow him in this adventure. So he put in the winery all the money that he was saving, and I did the same as well. All the money that were designated for my wedding, I decided to invest in this winery. And together we built every single stone of the winery. So we did everything by ourselves. We built the winery, we are taking care of the land, we do the production of the wine. And for us, this is something fun, is a real passion. So it's not an heavy work for us because we really believe in what we do. It's for us beautiful when we go to our winery. We know every single stone from which vineyards it comes from, and the tasting of our soil, and also the what every single wine that comes from every single vineyard taste. And so this is also what we want to be. Petilia is never the same. Every year is different because we put in the wines the things that nature gives to us every year, and every year is different. And also the training system of our vineyards is organic because we want to be sustainable, we respect the nature. And this is Petilia, it's authentic, it's Teresa and Roberto.
Ilaria, I'd love to have you teach us about the noble grapes of Irpinia, but first I'd like to ask Teresa for some local language.
Certo, la nostra provincia è una provincia a vocazione vitivinicola e quindi si è sempre parlato di vino già da tempi molto addietro. Il detto che ti comunicherò adesso è questo: il vino buono si vende senza la frasca.
Okay, so she said that our province, which is producing since a long time very good wines, has this local way of, saying like when the wine is good, it's sold easily without, necessary to do something special like special marketing or event. But now that, we know that now is not like this anymore. So with the Consorzio di Tutela, we are here in New York to promote our denomination and our wines.
That's wonderful. Thank you. What is the fresca?
Frasca, it's, the vines arms, like with all le foglie, il rametto della vite. Means the accessories. You don't need any accessories to sell a good wine. It's just the wine, the quality.
So you're using the vines themselves as the image. Thank you so much. Ilaria, I am so excited to learn from you about Irpinia. Could you start by telling us the story of the grapes they use to make wine there?
Yes, so Irpinia is making a wine since a really long time because we have some of the ancient grape of Italy. For instance, the white Greco di Tufo and Fiano di Avellino, but also the red Aglianico. Of course, when you go back to millennia ago, you cannot never be sure about the history. So there are different theories. There are, a theory that said that this grape were brought to Campania from Greece during the Magna Greece period. Other theory that said that, for instance, Aglianico comes from Spain. But anyways, we can tell that we produce wines in Irpinia only from indigenous varietal, so only local grapes. And I think this is something that really is the characteristic and the specialty of Irpinia, because no international varietal, only local grape, and some of the best white of Italy that can really aging for a long time, and the Aglianico, which is also a late varietal red that is harvested in November. So when all over Italy the harvests are already finished since long time, and which is considered the biggest red of southern Italy. So amazing grape. Very good and long aging wines, and we are so proud of what we do.
I'm so interested in the local grapes, especially with this project. Can you talk to us a little bit more about the wines that are made from these grapes?
Allora, con le uve che Ilaria ha ampiamente descritto, noi otteniamo per l'Irpinia 3 denominazioni a DOCG e delle denominazioni ad hoc. Per le denominazioni a DOCG con le uve
Okay, so in Irpinia we have 3 denomination as DOCG, so denomination of origin, controlled and guarantee. And what is interesting is that the 3 denomination are very separate from each other. For instance, we have the Greco di Tufo denomination, which includes 8 small municipalities around the village of Tufo. So the varietal is Greco. Di Tufo means from Tufo, the village that gives the denomination. Only 2 village in Irpinia comes across of the 2 of the 3 DOCG, so Montefalcione and Lapio, and they can produce both the denomination Fiano di Avellino and Taurasi. Then, beside the Greco di Tufo denomination, we have Fiano di Avellino, which is quite a big denomination because includes over 26 maybe village. And then we have also the denomination of Taurasi. So it's a kind of a zonation that already keep very separate the production of the grapes from where we have this denomination. And then for the Aglianico, for the denomination of Taurasi, Taurasi is made with Aglianico grape. So after a period of aging in oak and following the strict regulation of the DOCG for Taurasi, we can release a Taurasi DOCG, which is an aged Aglianico. And recently the consorzio also changed the regulation and added the denomination Fiano di Avellino and Greco di Tufo Riserva. Means that they can be released 1 year later after a year of aging, because we want to convey the aging potential of our white.
Teresa, parliamo di più dei vini che sono fatti di queste uve.
Allora, partiamo sicuramente con i bianchi, perché in abbinamento si parte
Okay, so
sempre con i vini bianchi.
she
non
started
per
from the white
importanza,
wines,
perché le
not because
denominazioni
the importance of the 3 denomination is different, but just because generally when we taste, we start from white. So, and before Greco di Tufo, so what we found in the Greco di Tufo, in a glass of Greco di Tufo, generally we found white and yellow flower, but the kind of wild flowers and fruit, mainly, citrus, this kind of fresh fruit that really brings some acidity to our Greco, and also sapidity, because of course the Greco generally has this sulfurous note. And what is also very exciting is the long-lasting finish of the Greco di Tufo, because when you drink a glass of Greco, it's like you always want more. It's never enough, because it's something that really make you excited to drink the next glass.
Thank you so much for that education. Maybe we can speak a little bit about the general flavors and characteristics of Aglianico, of Fiano?
Il Fiano di Avellino, il nostro Fiano di Avellino, è il vitigno delicato.
So the second white is our Fiano di Avellino DOCG, which is one of the best white wine of Italy, we can tell. So Fiano is very complex and very elegant, full of different notes such as dried fruit and flowers, fresh fruit and fresh flower, and has a kind of big structure. So you can pair Fiano even with kind of, well structured food. Is Fiano really surprised us for the longevity because it's among the few white that can really aging for over 20 years. So this is really the specialty of Fiano di Avellino. And so is a white that really make us very proud of it.
Sì, allora l'Aglianico lo descriveremo nella DOCG del Taurasi.
So the Aglianico, we describe the Aglianico, sorry, in the denomination of Taurasi. And so following the regulation, the Taurasi di Aglianico is aged the minimum 3 years for the regular Taurasi and 4 years for the Taurasi Riserva. So after a long period of aging, you can already imagine what you get in the glass. You get an explosion of different flavors. For instance, the fruit, the red fruit from, the cherry, the blackberry, which is the characteristic of Aglianico from Irpinia. Then also some tasting note from the oak, but they are very well balanced. And also the long-lasting finish, the acidity, and the minerality, all the characteristic of this big, full body red, which can really live forever, which is the Taurasi.
Beautiful. I'd love to talk a little more about the land and the climate and the terroir of Irpinia. So, piacerebbe imparare di più del terreno.
Sicuramente noi abbiamo dei sottosuoli a macchia di leopardo. Significa che
So regarding the soil in Irpinia, it's interesting, and this is another specialty of Irpinia, that each zone, each denomination has a different characteristic from the others. For instance, the area of Greco di Tufo is characterized by this sulfus because in the past there were sulfus mines. So the soil is rich of this element that gives the minerality to our Greco di Tufo.
Of sulfur.
Yes, the sulfur. Then the area of Fiano di Avellino is more clarky clay, so it's very rocky. The roots of the vines needs to go really deep in the soil to look for nutrition. So this helps to give a body, full body, and complexity to our Fiano di Avellino. And then in the area of Aglianico, we have more like volcanic soil. So, for instance, in many vineyards, we have ashes because, of course, the area is also interested by, the eruption, the several eruptions that we had in Campania region. And so this gives the characteristic of our, Taurasi and Aglianico. So we have an Aglianico which is full body. It's a tannic varietal, but now the style is changing a lot. So it's more well done, well integrated and balanced with, the oak and the acidity of the Aglianico.
Perfetto, grazie. Ok, so sì, un caffè per te, Roberto. No, va bene, va bene. I want to ask you more about your vision for the consorzio and for the wines of Irpinia. But first, I'm interested. You two seem to be such close friends. How long have you known each other?
In realtà ci conosciamo da un decennio e la nostra amicizia è nata per caso. Mi era stato consigliato di tenermi lontana perché lei, Ilaria, era così diversa da me. Io più sul mondo agricolo, lei più fashion, il mondo della moda. E invece poi la contaminazione ha fatto bene a me e forse anche un po' a lei.
So we know each other since about 10 years, and we became friends by chance. Teresa said that people told her to get far from me because we were so different. She was more in the country, area, and she was thinking about me more in like a glamour, fashion addict person. But she said that in the end, we became friends, and the contamination among our two different style and words helps each other to become, better.
I love this. I'm thinking of not really a saying, but kind of a trope that we have in English. I wonder if you have something similar in Italian. There's a country mouse and a city mouse.
Tu sei un topo di campagna, io un topo di città.
Ma non so quale è meglio.
Ci sono la stessa cosa in Italia?
No, non si dice, però te lo rubo. I stole it. It's a nice way.
Da noi in Italia essere una topa non è una cosa troppo bella.
I want to ask you both about your work as the president and vice president of the Irpinia Consorzio, but could we start at the beginning? What is an Italian wine consorzio?
Il consorzio di tutela dei vini in realtà è un organo ministeriale e quindi
Okay. So what is an Italian consortium? The Italian consortium is an association which includes grapes brewer, producers of wine, and also just company that just bottle wine. And if they get a range of people, that are associated, they become recognized by the Ministry of the Agricultural. And when a consorzio becomes di tutela, like the Consorzio Tutela Vini d'Irpinia, it becomes the arm of the ministry in the territory and has the control of the right application of the regulation of the vinification process for the DOC and DOCG wines, and also the promotion of the denomination, which is already important. And so it's quite a tough and important responsibility.
Dimmi di più della tua visione per il consorzio e per i vini.
La mia visione per il consorzio in realtà è la visione del mio territorio, perché il consorzio...
So the vision of the consortium for the future starts from the territory. So we really believe that the place, the territory, the land come first. Our wines, the denomination are already known. For instance, Greco di Tufo, Fiano di Avellino, but it's kind that Irpinia, the area, is not known. So now we have to build the brand of Irpinia, because we really believe that this can be the strength of, opening the doors to our wines, to the other wineries, because there are many wineries under the consorzio that needs and deserve to become known. And so this is, the vision and the target that we will have for the future.
Is there any final word that you would like our listeners to know about about Irpinia, about the wine?
I think the best message is come to visit Irpinia. This is what we tried, to tell to the audience here in New York. The best way to really discover and understand the wines from a region is to visit the region. To see the place, to meet the people, to eat the food, to drink the wine, because this is the complete experience. And then when you go back to your place, you can find the wine and have the memories of your trip, which is something that consolidate, your memory and the experience. So the message I want to give is come to Irpinia. Irpinia is in Campania. So I know Campania is also not known. So Campania is the region of famous touristic locations such as Amalfi Coast, Pompeii, Sorrento. The region is called Campania. And Irpinia is the Avellino province, is inland, and is the quality wine region of Campania.
Ilaria ha sicuramente detto tutto. Io direi che oltre a visitare l'Irpinia va respirata. Noi abbiamo un'area particolare dei nostri boschi e abbiamo acque e cascate bellissime che rappresentano la
So
purezza della
Teresa
nostra
said
terra.
that Ilaria was already telling everything about Irpinia. So what I can add, just that also we have like something really special, which is this air. So you can breathe really Irpinia. The pureness of Irpinia, because we are surrounded by mountains, so we have this beautiful forest rich of these falls, waterfalls. So it's really like a paradise, like a pure place that you can breathe, you can taste through the food and the wine. So come to Irpinia and enjoy.
Teresa, Ilaria, thank you so much for talking with me, for all of your work in Irpinia, in Campania, in Italy, and to all of our listeners, thank you so much. Wherever you go and whatever you drink, remember to enjoy your life and to never stop learning.
Thank you. I 100% agree with your message. Never stop learning, because we have to be curious to discover always new things and new wines. And the Irpinia wines are for sure the best new wines, which are not really new, but that people and the US consumers can discover.
Thank you for listening to Modo di Bere, the podcast for local drinks and local sayings. If you love the show, please take a moment to write a 5-star review. Find Modo di Bere on YouTube, Blogspot, Instagram, and TikTok for even more unique and encouraging drinks and language content. If you would love for the show to continue and grow, support Modo di Bere on Patreon and unlock bonus episodes. Music for the show is composed by Ercilia Prosperi and performed by the band OU. You can purchase their recordings at oumusic.bandcamp.com.